Welcome to
BamBam-O-Rama. BamBam-O-Rama.
Welcome to another BamBam-O-Rama. My name is Adrian Estrada.
I'm Jackson Grist.
And today I want to talk to you, Jack, about the potential of ditching our cameras.
Ditching our cameras?
Yeah.
Okay.
You had mentioned something to the effect of ending up with another phone in our hands, right? And it got me thinking, what if we invested, or what if we went and looked over the potential to have the iPhone set up?
The iPhone setup, because there is now a piece of technology, correct me if I'm wrong, that basically does what our time code thingies do.
It does a lot of things, yeah.
And you can run, like, not only does it do that, like, you can, like, sit in like a live, I'm sorry? Conduct. Yeah, like you're a live director of a live broadcast. You can kind of do that. I mean, honestly, I'm done to try it for science.
Well, it just occurs to me that we can do a lot of the projects that we want to do with the very, very advanced camera of the iPhone. I would say Androids, but in this particular instance, there's an already developed for this purpose, proprietary system going on.
Well, iPhones, yeah, this one
Apple's
links
developing.
Yeah, this one links
working with.
Yeah, links iPhones together. Unfortunately, it doesn't link an iPhone and a Samsung together, which would be really cool. Can y'all start doing that?
I'm sure somebody can.
Please.
But that's also part of it, is that, this is being developed with the people who make the phones. So in theory, there's some potential for a better product.
There is.
But also with that is a lot less to carry around. We could literally go from big duffel bags to one, I guess sling over your shoulder type tripod, super slim tripods.
Monopod. There's that
There's the monopods. Yeah.
There's that monopod that
Has little
Newer
legs.
makes that basically will basically fold out into this thing or be a monopod.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we have a nice tripod here. For those of you who can't see it, no one can.
It's a fancy Newer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they make something that's like basically that, and it's super cool.
And so we might be able to end up with that in a little suitcase, or whatever you want to call it, little briefcase.
I think depending on what the project is,
phones and two iPads.
Right. I think depending on what the project is, that's definitely something that we could do. I think also, regardless, we should probably invest in a pop-up, pop-down monopod. I think that would have helped.
Impromptu.
That would have helped for back when we were recording wrestling. It would have helped. We just did the video with Colby. I think that would have helped our step-in cameraman with that.
Sorry, I just thought of even more. So we could also end up with one to three more of the lapel packs, and be done with this and these, lugging them around, and still have pretty good audio. It's not going to be this crisp. And I'm talking about for moving around.
We're talking about when we're moving around, yeah. Because I think there's no way to walk or go around it. When you're sitting down recording a podcast, I feel like it's almost standard to have this thing in front of you. It just gives the look that everyone wants to see.
Yeah.
And since it's an audio-heavy thing, I think it just makes sense.
No, I'm down with that. But it could be interesting. It could be a solution that gets us really out of lugging a lot of stuff around.
Right. Granted, I think, I say that too, though, about podcasts. There's that Bobby girl that she does a lot of different things on her podcast. Remember Bobby played tennis during the podcast. They probably didn't have this in front of them.
No, they had lapels on.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's time to get
weird
with it.
We're at a point where it's something that we could consider.
Absolutely.
The technology, I don't mean us. I mean the technology that surrounds us is at that point. We're
far beyond that point. Ourselves.
Yeah. No. But no, it is good, and I don't mean good enough as it meets the threshold. I mean it's 24, 32 floats and stuff like that. I think ours are 24, right? But I'm saying, and that's great. Can you imagine, thinking about a little field recorder like that size?
That'd be cool. That would be really cool. Well, I mean, this guy's not super huge and clunky, but
right.
I mean, if you can package it in an even smaller case,
right,
and even smaller than this too, right? Down the line, if it's not already.
Yeah, we might have where we're doing that. And then all we need, I believe, and we'd have to research more, but I believe all we would need is to outfit the iPad, that's the brain of it all, with an SSD for storage to obviously expand that. I think it sends everything.
You can get up to 2 gigs standard on an iPad, but you would want more, not 2 gigs, I'm sorry, 2 terabytes. If you're dumping that immediately after a filming session, and that's like a 3 or 4 hour filming session, maybe.
And that's assuming you're going to be able to use your iPad to dump it. You would want to be able to.
Yeah.
But we've already got SSDs.
Yeah, we got plenty.
And again, so like we wouldn't be able to use these mounts, but in similar fashion, we might be even double-sided tape types of this,
Yeah.
But yeah, we'd be able to, because they have Type-C, and I believe that's all you need. So you could end up with an iPad, which, yeah, it's expensive. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this is a cheap option. I'm saying it's a very interesting and more affordable than ever. We're talking about $1,500 a piece.
I won't lie. I sat up $1,500.
Right?
No, when I priced out that
I'm thinking
iPad.
about the phones.
Oh, for phones? Okay, yeah. No, but the iPad. When I priced out that top of the line iPad that I could just for fun the other day, it was nearly $3,000. Nearly.
That's probably what we'd be needing, at least in the processing world.
Yeah, which is nuts to me. It's nuts to me that, do you remember when like those tablets first came out? Like they weren't breaking 1,000, and now, and I know it's not 3,000. So those of you who are like Apple nerds and know the prices, get at me in the comments. I want to talk to you. I'm rounding up. It's not 3,000, but it's close enough to call it.
Yeah,
it was like 2,500, something like that, 2,600.
But we can, I do know this, now I'm thinking about it more, we can skimp on the iPhones. Like, we don't need the pros and all that to make it work.
No? Mm-mm. You wouldn't, I don't know anything about the iPhone camera anymore, so I'm not arguing. I don't know.
Think just as far as what that program and that technology uses.
You could just use any iPhone, but...
Well, up to a certain point,
Yeah, not like the iPhone 6 or anything, but like it would still have to be a newer iPhone.
The lowest storage is fine because again, I'm pretty.
The storage is going to the iPad.
Worst case scenario is we would do the same thing per phone.
You would want the Pro because the Pro's going to have the better camera than the base model, right? So you'd at least want that, but you could skimp on the storage, maybe.
Maybe on the storage only.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything.
That? I mean, what are those? Yeah, I'm not going to look it up. But they're at least, $250 cheaper on the phones.
Can you look up how much the new iPhone is?
No, I told you I'm not going to look it up.
No, I'm talking to the producer.
I said no. Just get real angry at you.
Right?
Fuck you. I'm right here.
What's the problem?
Who are you seeing?
Who are you talking to?
Who the...
And then you look over there. What's his name from Joe Rogan? Red Band?
Yeah.
He's just like sitting there with his laptop out of nowhere.
Plays a cat noise.
Right?
But no, I mean, it's just a fun thought, I guess. But
no, it would be a fun thought.
It's really cool that can be all you need. I mean, again, it's not, a cheap option, but it's all you need.
Well, no.
In comparison to $2,500 to $4,000 cameras.
Right.
And we're talking about hopefully getting 4K in those prices.
Well, I mean, and I think because the first edition of the BamBam-O-Rama YouTube channel, we recorded with the Samsung phone I had at the point in time.
Yeah.
We recorded like 3 episodes of it, I think.
I thought a few more. At least 1 or 2 with my phone too.
Right. Yeah, I think we had a few in there. That, I think video-wise would have been fine. We did mention when we were listening to it that audio-wise it sounded pretty rough.
Well, there's things we've learned since then too that might have helped all of that.
Yeah, but lapels would fix that. It's amazing to me nowadays, like Apple puts it out there too. They film all the, I don't know how much of their commercials, but they film all their iPhone commercials on an iPhone these days, just so they can put at the bottom, made on an iPhone. And I do also question, is that 100% that it was made? Like, what was 100% of the video of the commercial made on an iPhone? Was it like, a couple shots that made it in there?
My only thought is if it is that case where it's only one shot out of the, let's say 30 or 40.
Did you notice it?
I challenge you to tell me which one.
Right.
And then at that point, I challenge anyone to identify it again. That's not you, that person telling you. So
But also, I won't lie. Like, I love this idea because I love, how do I say this? I love out of the box artsy things when it comes to filming and movies. That's why I fell in love with found footage so much. And I think even though found footage has kind of been, it's not I want to say standard, but it's not a standard thing in horror movies, but it is, you're guaranteed to have one or two new found footage movies come out, right?
Yeah.
But it's something you can be really, really artistic with if you put the work and the thought into it. Leaning into filming a movie, a music video, or whatever ideas you have with 3 or 4 or 5 iPhones, I mean, it interests me. It sounds fun to me.
Have you seen, I think it's James Gandolfini is going to be in a movie that they retrofied the video to look like an 80s, and the quote is, I wanted it to look like somebody's cans that were found in their basement, like their film cans.
I haven't. No, I want to.
And it looks pretty neat. Like
it's a found footage?
No.
Oh.
It's made to appear as though it is.
Okay.
So it's an interesting thought and what you're talking about, that you like that look, and now people are, in short, using a synthesizer, right?
Yeah, I mean, people are doing that. I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but I know the Paranormal Activity 3, the story is like the prequel. It's when the 2 girls from the first 2 movies were children.
Yeah.
So they make it look like all those are recorded on like the VHS.
Yeah.
Cams. They may have been. That was kind of a big thing at that point in time. Remember, J.J. Abrams recorded Super 8 on an actual Super 8.
Right. I mean, it's definitely still around where people are using that. Yeah.
But what I was gonna say, if they didn't, because I don't know that much about the production in that movie, if they didn't use actual cams, they did a really good job of making it look like those VHS camcorders. That's the word.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw that one. I know you weren't too big in, well, horror movies in general, but especially the Paranormal Activity franchise, I don't think was
I've seen 3 of them.
The first 3 are good.
I think I've seen 1, 3, and 4 though.
Yeah. Oh, you got to see 2. 2's better. 4 is terrible.
Wait, no, I've seen 2 for sure.
Okay.
Because I remember that's the one that picks stuff off from 1, literally, right? It is a direct sequel, or is 3 this direct sequel, and 2 is somewhere else?
4 is arguably the actual first sequel.
Okay, so then I've seen 1, 3, and 4.
So 2 happens right before 1. You find that out.
I've seen 1, 3, and 4.
Yeah. Okay. And then 3 is when they're little kids.
Yeah, I've seen 1, 3, and
4 is awful.
I don't remember enjoying it.
No.
But I usually don't like a lot of sequels in anything, much less, to be quite truthful, horror sequels are really hard for me to stomach.
A lot of the times in horror movies, they came up with a good idea that was really solid for one movie, and then it made a ton of money, and they were like, let's just do it again. And in fact, let's not... The horror movie franchise is notorious for really not even caring about their fan base. They're like, sweet, Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp was a fantastic movie. They made 2 and 3 back to back with zero thought. Less than they saw how much money it made, and they were like, get the sequel into production like immediately. It was in production in less than a year. There's no thought and planning into it.
Yeah.
And not only did they film, like I said, they filmed 2 and 3 back to back, and they were both trash because no one cared.
Well, I think that's part of it too. Is at some point the B horror film has become so phoned in that I quite frankly get annoyed by a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what makes me want to make my own even more so. Not because I think I can do it better, but because I want to make something that I like.
I think there's nothing wrong with that. Not to plug my own stuff, but one of the reasons that I started writing music for the project that I call Jackson's Lost Cause was because I remember back a long, 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 long time ago when Best Buy sold CDs. I was walking around Best Buy and I wanted a new music, and I was like, I can't find anything that I want to listen to. So I went home and started writing. And I'm not going to say that the first thing I wrote was what I needed to hear, but I was like, I can't find anything. So I'm going to go see if I can make something I want to hear. And I think that's a good kind of analogy to what you're talking about. Like, I'm not finding the movies that tickle me, so I might as well tickle myself.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I think that's where a lot of people start creating things. They just want to see something that they made that they feel is pretty, and damn it, I'm gonna do it. So I'm really excited to make our horror films. You know, I know we end up talking a lot about ourselves on these, but I think that's kind of part of it, right?
That's kind of what the buddy cast is. I mean, you watch. Not that we are two bears in one cave, but that's what Tom and Bert talk about. It's like what happened to them that week, or while they were on vacation, or this or that. You know.
I mean, I'm just looking forward to making our horror short that's coming up for Texas Frightmare, the fake trailer, the new one. I'm looking forward to making our short feature that we've got planned, hopefully to somehow be submitted for the next year's Texas Frightmare features. And, hopefully we make that list. If not, of course, be submitting it to a few festivals. And then hopefully that's where we can start moving some of that ball. I'm not ever expecting to make something, blockbuster or something of that nature, but I hope to be able to make something that makes nobody cares interesting to people, if that makes sense.
I get that. I'm the same way. Like we've talked about a dozen times. I don't remember if we've ever said it on the podcast, but I know we've talked about it personally. I don't care if my music, I don't care if this YouTube channel, and I don't care if our indie filmmaking ever makes us $1 million. But as long as it makes us enough money to keep doing it, that would make me more than happy.
Yeah.
That also doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing it if I don't make money.
So please subscribe because I desperately need your help.
Yes. And our Patreon's only $1 and we need to put new stuff on it.
Yes.
We will soon.
But no, I'm really excited for all of these projects and stuff like that. I think it is the near desperation of, things getting real more than tight for me in life, where I'm like, okay, I need to figure out a way to make a project that can make money sooner than later.
Right.
And that's where, the film appeal is there. It's like, it's almost a lottery, I guess you could say. But also I think that there's possibility within being able to make something sooner than later that would make money.
Absolutely.
However,
well, I think too,
a year and a half from now at least.
I mean, you do look at, it is a year and a half from now. You look at, it's awesome to me how I've loved indie films for a very long time, which I know isn't always reflected on what my Netflix says, and the fact that I honestly do love going to the movie theaters and watching whatever movie the MCU wants to give me, whether it's garbage or whether it's something amazing like Infinity War. I still love what?
Infinity War was garbage.
Infinity War was amazing.
That's the last one, right?
No, Endgame.
Oh, my bad. Yes, Endgame is garbage. Infinity War is good. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But no, I always still have had a heart for indie movies. I like everything about them. And I think, a lot of people do. So I always wanted to make one.
Yeah.
And really make one. I'm not trying to say that No One Cares isn't an indie film, but it is definitely a pieced together project of a bunch of different ideas that kind of got us there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily an incohesive pile of garbage, but it's also not necessarily a true story.
No.
I personally feel and think of it as more of a musical showcase than anything.
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel that if you can get someone to the second music video, that they're in. And I failed to do so, obviously, with the edit because we don't have, hundreds and hundreds of people watching it, right, and or referring it to friends. But part of the thought process in it was to just really showcase your music and be able to make those music videos.
Those music videos were a lot of fun to be made.
Yeah.
It's also...
Which, I want to say this, I don't know if I've ever said this, but the original music video idea I had for you, I don't know if you recall this, was the American Beauty Roses.
Oh, yeah.
That was my first, we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first, okay, I'm learning something.
That was a highly CGI made thing, and the CGI also doesn't hold up. So I think we would honestly could have pulled that off very easily.
It would fit with the ones we've got.
Right. Mm-hmm. I think the cheap CGI we had, what we could get to, We easily could have made it, right?
Yeah, I think so. And even if not, I could have figured out some practical mix where we green screen and then drop some flower petals. That was going to be the next move anyway.
Yeah.
Was to go buy some of those felt or whatever they're made of petals. Not felt, probably poly something. But yeah, I really wish that I could say that I had some of that footage. Because I had Dee.
Yeah, we never did. Yeah. Oh.
What?
Wait, what?
I had her like running around in the green. Like I wasn't green screen. I was tracking her rather, masking. Mm-hmm. And it was just a fun video I had, but I don't have that anymore.
That reminds me. I wanted to bring something up the other day, and I didn't know.
Was it gonna be my dog's dead? You wanted to rub that?
No. It was gonna be about your dog. No. I want there to be. I don't know what this needs to be, but I want there to be an element of BamBam-O-Rama because the channel's name features my dog. I would like a Dee Dee's Corner. Now, what is Dee Dee's Corner? I don't know.
It's where like we mug people.
Right.
She was pretty mean, dude. I don't know.
I mean, she did death all of the dicks.
Yeah, fucking, that dog hated penises. I'm not saying she ever saw mine. I'm just saying that was her adversary. She hated those
death them. Sorry. No, but I did. I thought it would be cool if we did have something that did show, like, not showcased your dog, but
I mean,
give her some love.
I set up the AI Instagram bot as the DD, the Death Dicks writing bot to help with some.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We only used it once for a little test thing. I don't even know. Oh yeah, I used it to analyze what I'd written for the first page of on the way back from the last trip up north to Lubbock. Yeah. I used it to write the first page of the. I don't know what to call it.
The music video?
No.
The found footage film.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you wanted me to say it.
That's fine. No, yeah, we're writing a found footage film. It's gonna be good.
So yeah, I was writing. I wrote that first page, and then I fed it into that to see what it said about it, and it tried to rewrite it, and I was like, no, I don't want you rewriting my shit. I want you to be like, this shit's okay here. Maybe change this.
Right.
That's all I ever want.
Yeah, you wanted a suggestion, not a. This is better.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Everything is this is better.
Right.
You can always argue one pro and con versus another pro and con situation. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what the fuck it is. Even if it's, I'm not going to say.
Even if it's bringing back the Emperor from the dead when he should have stayed dead after Jedi.
Yeah, there are pros and cons to that in many ways. The pros to keeping him dead, not destroying your franchise completely.
Yeah, 100%.
When it was already suffering.
Mm-hmm.
The cons to keeping him dead.
The franchise might get better.
The con of keeping him dead. So bringing him back to life, what's the pro of that?
The pro? Oh.
You know what I mean?
What's the
this
pro
is like a double negative situation. So what's the con of keeping him dead? Why do we want to bring him back to life? Oh, to kill him immediately. To kill him immediately. That's the only way
right.
that you make that story okay to have brought him back to... And he's like... I'm not going to get into it.
No, it's bad.
It's really bad.
It's bad.
And you should feel bad.
Yes.
And that is one thing I will say that we could have done better on, is writing at least that aspect of the story.
I mean, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Love Star Wars. I do not like that we found out it was the Emperor at the end of episode 9.
All right, let's stop harping on.
So, on our possible venture of phone camera recordings, would you want to do like the lean into what they are thing, or would you want it to
that's the real question, right?
Or is it replacing what we have here?
Well, without throwing out how much money is invested in everything and all that kind of jazz.
$6.
$6. Let's just use $1,500 per phone. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
$3,000 for the iPad. All of that together, we'd still need $500 in accessories. That's little cages type things, Yeah. And little mounts and that kind of jazz. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less, but let's just use 500. Okay. So for 3 cameras, that's $4,500 to $5,000 plus that 500. Then $3,000 for the iPad, $8,000 for a full 3-camera, 4K setup, the 9 yards.
Is that cheaper than what we got?
Yes. That and well, no, it's not.
We're sitting at less than the iPad.
Right? Is that right? No.
That one was 16. That one was like 12.
I guess so.
That's about the iPad, I guess, actually. But I mean, well, what else do you get with that? You get the
it's the control.
You get the control module too, though, and you can use this as a live broadcast. It's probably the cheapest way to do a live broadcast.
Well, certainly that, right? I would think. But
yeah.
For instance, if we're sitting here and I had that, like I used to have the iPad or laptop in my lap, we could be able to say we don't necessarily need a producer right now. That is one big aspect of it, is being able to do a lot of things that it doesn't. It's not even just the live switching and stuff. It's just being able to see everything at once and having. That's really what would make a lot of our stuff have been better. Like the JP lost footage stuff. What could have done better if we had all of that in one spot to look at instead of a set of eyes to look at everything. It's our still same set of eyes.
Well, yeah. Oh no, you're right. 100%. Yeah, that would be. It's just because we wouldn't have a producer sitting over here. You can pop up the iPad. You got your 3 to 5 cameras, whatever you got set up.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I can't see camera D, so you got to fix it.
Right.
Or camera, you're looking at all the shots too, and you're like, oh, this one's pointing at the ground.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? This isn't a feet finder shoot.
This one's out of whack. This one's cattywampus. All sorts of things that have bitten us in the butt before we learned our quote unquote learned our lesson and still have made similar mistakes. But those mistakes have been made because of our limitations of body. It could have been avoided if we'd had an extra set of eyes or everything centralized to a spot where we could manage it from there and or develop a tactic to fix it.
One or two or not both.
And to the final point is the potential for that to be where like color grading and all that stuff is a thing of the past.
Yeah.
The same types of phones or cameras, even though that these are the same brand, it is still very different to color grade and match those to each other, much less that guy. Meaning that sketches, skits, comedy, bits, all those little things can be a little bit more visually cohesive for the patron, the watcher.
Right.
I keep trying to say viewer, and then I keep switching to different words.
What do you guys want us to call you? What are your pronouns?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what are your watch nouns? I don't
your
know.
watch nouns.
But you know what I mean? It's just little things like that I think about while I'm studying and learning and reading all these things is subtleties. Even though we can get close, people notice that, and subconsciously they start avoiding things because of little things. I'm not saying that's happening to us.
Right.
I'm just trying to think about ways to set us up for best chance of success in my head.
I agree.
With that limitation of knowledge, because it's a trade in that. But it would be interesting to be able to do actual live events and just have 3 or 4 iPhones floating around.
And that would be cool.
And instead of carrying around a 10-pound, 8-pound, whatever that rig comes out to be.
Yeah. Also, we would have our videographers or cameramen, like we would have a gimbal set up on that phone, so they're not just walking around like.
Oh yeah.
Because I think
gimbals would be the cheaper ones.
Yeah, but I think like for 2 reasons. For one, so that the shot's not all cattywampus like you said earlier, and for 2, if we're doing a live event, not a basketball game, I don't know. As someone who's there, you're not gonna pay attention. You're gonna get in this guy's way who's just filming on his phone.
Well, it's certainly less of an eyesore for you, yeah.
Right. So if he's holding a gimbal contraption around it, and I'm thinking of the 2-handed gimbal, you're gonna be like, oh, he's doing something real. He's not just trying to post on his Instagram, or he takes his Instagram real serious.
Yeah.
One of the two. That is probably the biggest drawback to doing the live iPhone thing. And I mean, no one's probably going to do a basketball game with this setup, but
think they are. I think it's coming around the corner.
You think it's coming around the corner?
Well, I mean, think about this though, because in other people's situations, they don't need to own all of these iPhones. If Greg brings his and Tommy brings his, then they can link up for this moment.
That's true. And it's probably more, this situation might be more prone to like a high school college situation, and not like a big college. Like we're talking like D3, right?
Like a community college.
Community college, D3, something like that. Yeah, like UT.
Yeah, I'm not talking about something big.
Yeah, they're gonna have they're gonna have that ESPN camera crew there, and they're not showing up with iPhones.
But I'll tell you, I mean, where was it that was it Abilene that had the AV group go out and film that wrestling thing?
Yeah,
Sweetwater or somewhere. That's a high school that has an AV club that's doing a live
Breckenridge.
That's who did it. That's doing a live production at least once.
Mm-hmm.
If other schools aren't doing this more and more, they're missing out on the opportunity to teach kids. I think that the YouTube is going to be a lot bigger than people realize for income for a lot of the younger generation.
Well, that's what I thought about for a while. I think it would be wonderful if, the audio. A lot of high schools have AV programs, and I thought about, it would be good if they maybe, I don't know if it would be the same club or program, or if it, was a separate club or program that had connections with the AV group. But if they did start doing a podcast, a social media based thing, and you have a coach, a teacher that is present and monitors, but you have the kids in charge of that, because honestly, like,
well, it's like the old school announcements and stuff like that.
Yeah. You're going to have kids in high school, right, who would really benefit from learning how to communicate, do a podcast right now.
Yeah.
They'd be able to graduate and almost start immediately. Well, probably not immediately, but, they'd have a leg up over two middle-aged guys that started it out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a simple system that's going to be probably by the time they graduate in a year or two, even better,
mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot more accessible to everybody, I would imagine. So let us know in the comments if you think that iPhones are the future of filming for at least YouTube and maybe even some minor events.
I tend to lean on the side that pretty good chance that they are.
We're talking to them.
Yeah, I'm just telling y'all. That's your opinion.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding.
Make sure you push that subscribe button and share this with a friend.
Click that like button, too. And
I already said that.
Did you say that? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
There's also a bell button that I hear some channels tell people to click so that, when we post new things. You could try that.
Yeah, I think it helps people watch your stuff.
Yeah, you can try the bell button. It's good.
You'll be saved by the bell.
Yeah. Wednesday mornings and Thursday nights, we stream on Twitch.
And of course, we're releasing original content every Thursday. We have been playing with the times and even considering a different day. We're going to be playing with that a little bit more. Sorry, guys. So please keep an eye out. Like you said, hit that bell and you'll be a lot more aware of when we're releasing that new content.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for watching us.
Oh, and music coming real soon. Original music from BamBam-O-Rama.
We love y'all.
We love y'all.